Well, good morning as we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful morning, Tuesday morning, September 10th, year 2024, here with the Hello Ocean. My name is Haim Mizrahi, continuing with the tradition of public access and the tradition of the Hello Ocean that's been on the air since 1980. Of course, not to fail to mention a contribution by Fraser Dougherty, Francis Ann, and of course the likes of you out there to make it your business to enhance and fortify this concept rightfully so. Here with us is a unique person. If I was to say that I know him forever, it would be an understatement. Fantastic individual, a huge contribution to the psyche of our community, responsible, bright, talented, an artist in his soul, a good friend, passionate, sensitive, funny. Yeah, of course, and so much more that we're hoping to learn this morning. Tommy DeGrassa is here with us this morning. Uh, so nice to have you here after all these
All these
years
years.
that I thought you're going to be here sitting with me, interacting endlessly.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm happy to have you here, and that in itself is an
You
achievement.
seduced me by putting me in your current art show, so here I am.
Yes, that's something, of course, we're going to mention and everything. But I'm not so sure that we can talk about anything but art because it includes the entirety of who we are. And that's like, and I know that you can relate to it because I think your talent is coming to you as a given, which doesn't really happen to many people. And that's something that one can only notice about you if one gets to know you for real. So I want to talk about these things this morning and chat with you as we usually do anyway.
That's right.
And so tell us a few words about Tommy.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, you first asked me to come on a million years ago, and I said I can't talk off the top of my head. I'll only get in trouble. And he's, you'll be great. You'll be great. So here we are. I'm going to get in trouble. What do you want to know?
Well, I mean, just tell us a little bit your background, just kind of whatever it is that you.
Great. Okay, let's see. I got out here in 1980, and I like to think of myself as the beginning of the end of the Hamptons because you got Italians from Howard Beach moving out to Montauk. That was it. That was it. No, really. I came out in 1980 to work at Gurney's. I had just received my massage therapy license out west in Colorado.
You can put the mic closer to you if you want.
And Gurney's was perfect. A brand new spa.
Yes, that's true.
And I just took the ride out here, and I fell in love with the area. Never left. Not left.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 40 years.
Because my first gig was in Montauk as a physical therapist. There was a salon there. I think Barbara was running it.
Oh, yeah.
That's 1984.
Oh, how do you like that? So, yeah, we have a lot of similar things. The physical therapy, the art, the music, and the poetry.
Yes, definitely.
You're better than all of them than me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not so sure about it. But I mean, so what, the sense of dedication, because you're steady as she goes. You don't waver. So where do you draw this kind of attitude in order to keep up with this consistency, of yours when it comes to arts?
Oh, well, art is a real personal thing. You kind of do it when you feel like there's nothing else you could be doing better with your time, I guess. Or it was one of the few things that when I was doing art, I was truly 100% committed. Like focus, nothing else mattered, and I guess that was the thing that kept me coming back to it is that I can get lost in it, and I used to have a compulsion to do it, and no more. I don't feel the need to create.
Why do you see it as something negative?
No, not at all. Like I stopped painting for a long time. And perhaps this will get me back to my canvases, but I've always drawn. I love drawing. Painting, on the other hand,
and you do it well.
I like to draw. I find it therapeutic in a way. But when it comes to painting, it's amazing seeing some of the pieces I have up that I've done like kind of 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I'm amazed that I have any paintings that I feel like are whatever successful or okay, because I was always at complete. I don't know what it's like for you when you go to your studio. I imagine it's different. I am in complete, full-out war with my materials. It's the paints, the brushes. They're in a battle against me and my desire to do something with them.
They stand in your way.
They stand in my way. And I told this to an artist friend, and he said, I said, that's why I like drawing. And he said, yeah, pencils take much better orders. They take their orders much better.
Yeah, more immediate.
Yeah, more in control. And the painting was always like flying a jumbo jet through a hurricane. And I never knew how or if I was going to land it. But I landed the plane many times. I can't believe it. But it was never fun. Or a few of them were fun. Like from beginning to end, like, yes. Most of them were, I create, and then I destroy, and then I recreate something from that comes out the way I think I needed it to come out without the destruction. Like, you could do a nice drawing, say a neat little tight drawing, and I call it like a high school homework assignment. It's nice, but it's nothing. It's nothing. Whereas if you get into it.
But it has a beginning, middle, and end, and you show that evolutionary process. I remember when I used to hang at Ashwa Hall, and you happened to be in the area, and you cruise by, and you rave about my work, and you have your notebook. One of the times you made that drawing for me, remember? You went out, you drew, and you gave it to me. For me, that right there, it tells me what it is that I'm not capable of doing, and you are. Because it's very simple, It's almost like you look at my paintings and said, "This is so beautiful," and by the way, I don't think I can do that. Right. And so the same I feel about towards your.
Oh, interesting.
And it's okay to take things for granted, but not so much so that you forget that you actually. It takes something more than just wanting to do it to be able to do it, And you got that. So do you have like self-appreciation? Or you like sometimes realizing, wait a second, I think I'm better than I think I am?
Yeah. Thanks to people like you and other friends, say, you're good, you're great, you're this, you're that. I'll take that. I don't know.
Because you seize on what that which comes to your mind, ideas, whatever, the books that you write, the jokes, whatever it is, you act on it, you capitalize on it. So share with me a little bit about that. So from point of inception to actually having a book or having something to show for.
Well, it's funny. When I was much younger, say do a massage at Gurney's and people start chatting, and I would always say I do artwork, as opposed to saying I'm an artist, right? Because I didn't think I was qualified to say I'm an artist. And then, you fast forward 30 years, and I'm like, shit, I'm an artist.
Yes.
Like, it hurts.
All along.
You know what I mean? It's like, I am an artist, like it or not. And I'd say you say consistency. I would ever use that word for me, but looking back now, at this ripe old age, I have always pursued something very diligently, either painting, or if I wasn't painting, then writing. And if I wasn't writing, writing joke books, or writing serious stuff. But yeah, I do. I don't know. I'm an artist, for better or worse, whatever that means.
Yeah, of course. I was more like trying to, in the place where you were, that I remember myself being there, was more about, how can I diffuse them? I don't know who them were, but them, something, people, things.
Right.
By just overwhelm them by quantity. But because quantity in my eyes is also quality, so I was actually overwhelming them with quality too.
Yeah.
If I don't plan quality to show quality, then it comes out much better. Then much more quality is happening due to that.
Well, you're really prolific.
Yeah, and really prolific means I just trained myself to be that, which I was already like that with other things that supposedly I thought had nothing to do with art, like painting houses.
Right.
So I always say I had to remind myself at the very beginning when I first started painting and showing my work, I felt so scared, so vulnerable, so for the longest time I was walking around thinking like people point at me, look, oh, look, here comes the loser. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. But I'm sharing with you the truth.
I
Oh,
know.
here comes the up to no good individual. What is he
Who
doing here?
thinks he's yeah,
Pretending that he knows a thing or two about painting. You know, something like that.
something like
And I would look at them and I would think that and I'd say they're they're not far away from reality. They're actually they don't know how right they are
yeah, but
about me. But you know, it's ridiculous.
it is ridiculous.
And
And
then
now
one
all
day,
these years later, you proved
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
wrong.
but you have to do something about it to prove that to them. How are you going to do it? So I said, what am I strong at really? You know, so like my profession is, you know, someone say give me an estimate to paint my house, and this house is big and complex and but I never found myself saying, I'm sorry, I cannot do this job. Never in all the years that I'm painting, 45 years. Never said no. Never, nothing intimidated me to say no, to say I cannot do it. But not because I use a slogan, let's go get them, let's stand up, let's, no matter what, never say no. No, I was in sync with reality. So I said, I'm going to interpret my strength of that kind of attitude onto the canvas. Of course, easier said than done, but slowly but surely, I brought the work ethics into the equation. Like I can work. I know I start something that I know I'm just going to do it for 5 minutes. It's going to be 7 hours. I know that. So I have no problems with that. And then when time comes to show you work, what do you show? Your strength.
That's right.
Not art. You show them, look, I sat there for hours. I toiled, I slaved, and this is the result. Deal with it.
I remember once going to the talk house after doing a painting, right? How you doing, Ty? I go, oh, I just did the greatest painting in 5 hours. I said, the problem is I worked on it for 7 hours. You know, there's the destruction. And that's the truth. Actually, it's in the show, that Lost Secrets of Modern Man. That was a great painting at one point. And then I ruined it. And then I went out and I told someone, I said, yeah, I just did a great painting, but I overworked it and it's a mess. And I come back and the next 5 hours, I tried to rediscover the original 5 hours. It took me another 7 hours. And I saw it as like almost like I said, okay, you're on an archaeological expedition here. You're trying to uncover what was there to begin with. You know, I'm going to unearth what I had. That's why I call it the Lost Secrets. And at the end of it, I liked it. Probably better than, like, not that I'm going to put myself in the same breath, but I will, as de Kooning's wife used to always say, what are you doing? You had a great painting going, and now look at it. She goes, it's bad. And he says, but only I could do a bad de Kooning, right?
Yes.
That's the artist's fallback, right? Only I could do it.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to it, you know. But they teach us not to dare to think that we can be like them, that we can be great. They
Right.
teach us to shy away from premature statement that they decide that they are premature.
Yeah, not other artists, but just society.
Yeah, but also those who are in the field of art. They don't like to admit because there's got to be only one in a generation.
Oh, yeah, the
ridiculous
great,
things
big,
like that.
colossal ego.
Yeah, and there's no one to teach them that they have no right to do that or to say anything about that. So with me, I feel like I was on the edge and the urge to react so many times, so much that I ended up not reacting at all. And my only reaction was, you know, I'm going to paint and I'm going to destabilize your potential destructive mode by my own creativity.
Interesting.
Yeah, just like that. That means I'm going to leave you in a position where you cannot go back to your normal in that moment. As long as you're facing what I'm doing or what I did, you cannot be yourself. You have to change, even if it's for an hour or 5 minutes. But you cannot, unless you want to lie to yourself and accept it as an okay thing to do. So that's the kind of dialogue that doesn't exist that I have. A shared reality that doesn't exist that I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I listened to your shows over the years, and I, always tuned into when you talk about when you enter your studio. It's like your church or your sanctuary.
Yeah.
And I have to see it one of these days. I really would like to.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you remember the story I told you way back? And hold your feet to the fire. I said, we were talking about art or whatever. And I said, I was 14 years old in my mother's basement and standing in front of an easel, and my father, God rest his soul, he wasn't a blue collar guy. He was like, he was a smart man, but the Italian second generation, like, you don't do art because you're going to starve, right? Yeah. But this is my father, very practical man. He comes down the base, and I'm standing in front of the easel, and my father goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I think I want to be an artist, Dad." And he goes, "An artist?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, and if you're married and you have children and they're hungry, are you going to paint them a loaf of bread?" I told you that once, and you said to me, "Did you ever paint that loaf of bread?" And I said, "No," and you said, not. "You paint it, I'll buy it." So I should have come today with a painting of a loaf of bread, made you buy it.
Oh, yeah?
I will do that, okay. And you will buy it. I'll charge you $1. We'll prove my father right.
No, I'll have breakfast.
Breakfast.
Bring the loaf of bread with us. But that's... I can tell you a story, a two-line story. When I was trying to do my first attempt, was the most pathetic. It wasn't pathetic at all, but I'm telling you how it ended up being. It was pathetic. You can't imagine.
Your first painting?
Just the first attempt, not because of my attempt. It's because of my father's reaction.
Yes.
So yes. I had a plank of wood with a flat screwdriver and a hammer, and I started to hit that wood, and then of course what I was trying to do is just create a face, So I started with a kind of elliptic, somewhat square, it's a circle or whatever, and then every time I hit it more, it became more and more pathetic because it just described inch by inch my disability. My uselessness of that was consistent throughout the process.
That's funny. Yeah.
But the thing is, okay, up to that point, it's okay. It's me, myself, and I. I mean, I can feel as ridiculous as I want. Nobody knows except me. So he comes up and down the stairs, and he's, and again, he's a no-nonsense guy. And until one of the things he kind of realized that I'm doing something, so he's trying to see what I'm doing, and he says, "What are you doing?"
Same thing.
He just said that. I didn't answer or anything. Yeah. He just said that. "What are you doing?" Right there, it's like he stabbed me in the heart, killed me 3 times, then came back to kill me 7 times more.
Oh, God.
It's like, so, and I knew there was no room for an answer. Because my father wasn't in the business of back and forth and losing and winning. He says something, it's over.
Right.
That means you're doomed, and I give up on
it.
Yeah, and I give up on you before I even think whether I should or shouldn't.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, so then when I first sent my first invitation in 1997 for a group art show, never mind that people never knew that I was an artist. Suddenly they're getting an invitation for... Look how interesting the psychology is working. People that know you but never knew you as a painter receiving invitation for a show of yours, solo show, and they read solo exhibitions, but their mind is telling them, no, it's a mistake. It's probably a group show.
Right.
Because how can it be? So when they come, they're consistent with their feelings. They say, which one is your painting?
Was this at Eshua?
Yeah. And then I said, well, which one isn't? And then that's how everything started. So when I did that, I remember I was thinking about my father, you know what? I looked at that show. Yeah, it was pathetic. It was pathetic. It had to be pathetic in order to lead you to greatness. And I had my girlfriend that believed in me and running around and selling work for me, whatever, $50, $200. It was 97. Telling me, don't try to do anything that you're not supposed to because you're going to ruin it. Let me handle it. But still, I was looking. So she gave me the time to observe what's happening around me in order to create a new dialogue with my father and say, maybe you were wrong.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah, well, good girlfriend.
I didn't know what it means. I didn't know what I was achieving by it. It just felt like it needs to come out. And if you're around and you can witness that, please do. And I had no doubt that if he was to see it, if he was to be there, or if he was to see it from wherever he is now, he would not be disappointed.
That's
much
a
I
nice
knew.
feeling, yeah.
So what does that tell us? Like in your case with your dad, if you were to take that and say, yeah, well, of course my father was, of course. And of course it doesn't make me feel good. But
he was looking out for me, actually.
Correct.
He didn't want me to
Correct.
have kids and they'd be starving or something.
Correct.
Right.
But the world is going in the same direction that your father went after his father.
Right,
and
exactly.
But you're going through the same direction. It's just that you happen to be an artist. Good for you.
Yes.
I'm sure that if he was to be introduced with an option to paint paintings on canvases in the village in Italy or wherever, he would be he would be an artist, whether a successful one or a frustrated one, but he would still be one.
I think, my father was from that generation, and I was surprised by a few things. One was when we went through after he passed, we were going through old boxes. My mom was still around, and I found these poems he wrote to my mother from when he was in the army. I could not believe it was the same man that was my father, like writing these really tender, beautiful things. I was like, all right, I'm going to remember this, When I think back on how he was trying to guide me, I think he knew the artist in him had to be maybe stuffed down a little to provide for a family, and became, what he became, a insurance man and a financial advisor. Before there was even that as a profession, he was like a financial guy. So I think my father was artistic, but knew that, like put it in its place, maybe like a hobby, but not your life. And like you and I, from our generation, it's like, well, I'm not a hobbyist, like, what is that? When I'm in front of a canvas, I was just saying it was the only thing I can give myself 100% to. My soul was on the line, my psyche was on the line. Not a hobby, but that's just a different approach. They always like music, though. Why? On Saturdays, you can get in a wedding band and make some money playing music. So they gave me drum lessons, So it was interesting. It's a very Italian-American, second generation, like.
Oh, yeah. My father used to build flutes.
Oh, really?
One day, I don't know where we were, and he was sitting, there was a piano, he was sitting and playing the piano. I said, be damned.
Damn.
What the friggin' heck? Playing the piano, singing.
So he has that creative.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely he had. But also you learn about I learned about my dad when I had my first child. I automatically reconfigured my observations and feeling towards how much of a bad dad he was. Just because your dad is using drugs doesn't mean he's not a good dad.
Right.
Just because he's experiencing this kind of losing proposition throughout his life, it doesn't make him a bad person.
Right.
So maybe that. So I apologized to him when I had my first child. I was saying, okay, I was wrong. Now I'm going to find out to what extent I was wrong. So I went deep into it, and I realized and I called my cousins and things and asked questions, and I said, "Wow, this guy lived a torturous childhood.
Wow.
Torturous. Not
And,
that someone hate him,
right.
or I don't know, maybe I don't know. I might dare say maybe he experienced some kind of a sexual abuse to a certain degree.
This is in Israel.
Yeah, and then but also he came from an enlightened family. You know, my grandmother was a woman that looks at you and she said, "Nice to meet you, but I hate your guts. Get the heck out of my face." Just like that. And when you open your mouth to speak, she said, "You cannot speak the language properly. Don't want to hear anything you have to say."
Wow.
Things like that.
Yeah, stern.
And okay, and then you resent her for that, but then you realize, man, you cannot mess with her. You cannot compete with her. She was always used to say, "You cannot compete with excellence," and I'm excellent.
Wow.
And when I bought the house that she lived in, I went on a crusade to free the trapped souls there. I really did.
I believe it.
I brought my friends and I said, "We're doing demolition." He said, "What are we going to demolish here? What are you talking about? Everything looks good." I said, No. She was the queen of the kitchen. She never allowed me to enter her kitchen. I never really tasted her food, maybe a couple of times, because every time my dad used to take me there, 2 minutes later they would fight. My father would break a plate and curse her or something,
God, really?
and pull me, and we go, and I'm looking at the food and smelling all these smells. She wouldn't even allow me to look at the kitchen.
Wow.
It was really crazy. So I told my friends, we're going to demolish these kitchen cabinets. But they said, but they really look like new, like good to go. I said, don't ask questions. I need to do that. But with one condition, we use our hands. We don't use hammers. We're going to pull this thing out of the wall. We're going to rip it. We're going to whack it. We're going to take it out of there. We're going to take it to the dumpster outside. And we're going to come back and do it again until the whole entire thing is good. Then we're going to spackle the walls immaculately. And then we're going to put one friggin' shelf that's going on 3 walls. Because I was getting ready to rent it. So now came the renters and say, how come you don't have kitchen cabinets?
He said, blame it on grandma.
They say, how come you don't have kitchen cabinets in the kitchen? I said, don't ask questions if you want to rent this apartment. This is what it is, and you don't dare touch this shelf, like move it, remove it. This is how it's going to have to be.
Interesting.
And that's how it was. And then I told my dad, I freed that cluster that was forming, that stood anywhere maybe to communicate with your mom. I made it feel and look like the kitchen, after all, is not such a big deal anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you faced it. You literally faced it
for his own sake. Yeah. And I felt like maybe by doing so makes me feel better and safer. Psychologically. Yeah. I'm sure you had these encounters when you were growing up, like in rituals of the family or habits or customs that you would say, I could do without.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But it's not in a bad way. Just.
Did you have brothers and sisters growing up?
Sure.
How many?
I'm 1 out of 5.
Oh, wow.
Like I have 5.
Yes, like you. Wow, that's amazing. I'm the baby by 6 and 7 years. So in a way, I'm like an only child. They were already, my brother and sister were.
How many?
My brother and sister, both older.
Three altogether.
3 altogether. Great triangle. We're a very close, beautiful family. But, they were in high school when I was just entering grammar school, and they were in college when I was in high school. You know what I mean? So
yes.
They had their life. So I was like an only child, but the family always all got together for dinner every night. That was our typical Italian tradition.
I love it.
Yeah, and I got no, complaints. I was the supposed, the so-called black sheep, or I didn't play by the rules like my brother and sister got their education, got a career, and I went on the hippie highway, right after high school and art school. And
You know, if you're going to give me a minute,
Yeah.
some noise that's annoying me here.
Yeah, there's an orchestra going on.
Oh, there is. Oh, you hear? Oh, Andy, come.
I'm sorry.
No. Yeah.
This is the one that
Come say hi. Come. You know Andy. He's going to be part of the show. You know Andy.
Hey, great. Hi, Andy.
Nice
to see you.
Yeah, we're on the air. So anyway,
nice.
Yeah. So it's good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
He's the original podcast.
Yes. He's going to be a part of the show, you know.
Great.
He's got talent in here. He's like...
yeah, my stuff's right out
that's
here.
perfect. We'll take care of it.
Yeah, I do have to run, though.
No, Andy, you're the man. And I'm so glad that you're participating. Yeah. You know Tommy DeGrassa.
I met
before,
yeah,
sure.
Maybe Ashwa.
So he's a part of the show also. We'll talk. We'll make it happen.
I have it out here. The one that, I don't know if you want me to show you. That you
can say something to the mic.
Oh, we're on? Yeah, hi.
No, don't go away. We're not done.
This one is still wet. I love it. But that one I like. So
I guess they do some post-editing here. Okay. Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to another exciting extravaganza of our Haim Mizrahi show. This is your guest host, Tommy DeGrassa. Doing as how it goes. So, oh my God. Look at this.
10 minutes, guys.
You leave me alone.
I'll see you later.
You got it.
You leave me alone with the camera. You know I had to go into a monologue. You missed my how it goes sound.
Yeah. You know, before you came, I wrote something and I said to myself, okay. Just as a point of reference, I don't know. I said, you know, this is what it means to write a poem for the sake of writing a poem, you know, and it's what is it? Oh yes, of course. Okay, so it's apropos. Not that I said. Well. Regards. Something funny smells here. I mean, smells funny. As in a crawl position, stretching my neck backward, a lasting glance filling up my nostril, as it's mine for the duration. And all of the above, grinning with whatever is left to work with. So that's that.
That's nice.
So you know, you take that and you say to yourself, well, you know, I'm going to write that, and let's see if I can find a replicate that I can replicate it into a painting. You know, but not do a painting of that. Do the painting like you do that.
Right. That was the initial.
Exactly. How many people do you know that work this way? They don't exist. This
I don't
breed
think so,
does not exist, and it's the most effective you can imagine.
That's interesting.
People don't see that as a possibility of kind of bypassing all these obstacles to achieve growth, maybe faster, maybe. I mean, we deserve to be spared from too much pain, no? As we create.
No. Yeah. Well.
How do you relate to this statement, the last one?
We deserve.
The whole concept of trying to be good to yourself.
That's right. No, it's a very important lesson. It really is. To not mind screw yourself all the time with the negative chatter that, who knows, maybe from the way you're brought up or the culture. And the older I've gotten, I think I've gotten better at giving myself a break, getting myself off the hook, no matter what it is. If I'm like in a down, in a funk for a day or two or whatever, a month, or it doesn't matter. I just say if you're not happy, it's all what's going on between your ears. And if you don't like where you're at right now, just change the narrative. It's arbitrary, whatever you tell yourself. It really is. So I think once you learn that or believe that, you start to tell yourself a better story. It's like take a bad song and make it better. Like the Hey Jude. Take a
Yeah, but
sad
what if
song.
you do that and then you realize that you're actually making things worse because you're not trained to create that change,
Oh, I don't know.
At least as instantly as we want it to happen.
Yeah, well, I used to always think art would save me. I used to always think, oh, I'm an artist.
Makes a lot of sense.
Art will save me. And boy, for the longest time, nothing could be further from the truth. You have your moments like, oh, I did that. I feel really like connected to whatever it is. I feel really in the pocket. But then it fades, and then say the negative narrative in your head takes over, and you doubt everything about yourself and art and stuff. But I'm no longer plagued by that. Like I used to think, oh my God, like the blank canvas was a terrifying, thing. Like, how am I gonna interact with this and do something? I used to put so much weight on it, and gosh, I think if you do it enough, like yourself, you do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drawings or paintings, man, it's like your show here. You're perfectly comfortable because you do this every day. I'm here as a guest. I'm not as comfortable as you because I haven't done it as often.
Yeah.
But it's the same kind of process. And I just love the fact that I could give I got a question for you. I've watched your show for 30 years. I never heard one cuss word. Do you edit?
No.
Is this going into post-production? Do I have final cut?
No.
How come there's no cursing on your show?
What?
My wife said to me, I says, just don't curse. But then I realized I never heard anyone curse on your show.
Well, it's public access. This is a code of conduct, kind of thing.
Oh, really? It's not like these...
it's not like
not that I'm sitting here wanting to curse.
No, I understand. I can... I will try to please you next time and sneak in a few of them.
I forgot what we were talking about. I got another question.
Shoot.
That was my other question. Oh, I run into you at, say, One Stop or the parking lot or here and there in town. I would like your answer on this. How is real life running into you in the parking lot different from this for you? Is it exactly the same, or it's got to be a little different? Because like in the parking lot, no matter what you say, it's not archived. So, it's like, but this, by the very nature of the equipment and it's a little different. So like,
yeah, it's second nature by now. So you don't get to.
But like,
I think this year, after like almost close to 6,000 shows, I realized I really am better than I think I am.
Oh yeah, I love when you have no guests and you could just chat away. I'm like, this guy, woo! Sometimes your hair's on and you're just like sipping. You go, oh, it's another day. That's a true talent in art, really.
Yeah. If you filter everything through the grinding machine of art and the attitude of art, you're a winner. You have a guaranteed 1 hour monologue. You don't have to be smart or a philosopher.
No, well, you are a philosopher, but it's you're not afraid to be honest and real, and that's why you're good at this.
Yes,
and work. I remember the one guy I loved he was in guest. I asked you about him once. I forgot his name. I know he's passed now, but he was a riot, a film guy, a theater guy, and
Gary Swanson.
He's a hilarious guy, but he found out that you were doing all this for free for now. And he called you a schmuck or something like that. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Said, oh, my God. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yes. You're schmuck. Yeah,
and you know what was great about it? And I'm going to polish your apples right now. He got in your face and was tongue in cheek, but he was like, you're an asshole. You're doing this for free. What's wrong with you, right?
Yes.
You were so non-defensive.
Yeah.
You got a kick out of it, and that was the right way to take it.
He said, I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to have to pay for breakfast. And you know how much this guy eats? He was telling everyone.
That was his thing, right? You had to take him out for breakfast.
All I want is a ginger ale. That's all. And one bagel. Maybe one bagel, $3. And he was telling you about his date. She was 90 years old.
Yeah. He was a good, funny guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those were the days. He was, I need to re-air these. But going back to, well, first of all, let me mention that we're sitting here with Tommy DeGrassa on Tuesday morning, September 10th. Tomorrow is September 11th, a big day. Year 2024 here with the Hello Show. And we have an ongoing show. It's actually up and running already. Tommy is a participant in this show, as well as Chris LeCoeur and Andy Tuttle, Steve Rom, and now Nick Weber is. We're very happy to have him, join us, and myself included. I'm actually introducing my 16-footer, the new one, the recent one. And that's pretty much it, really. And the tradition here in the last 27 years of ongoing group art shows is something that we feel like it just works very well with the community. And just in general, show me a place where you go and put an effort in place like we do here, and it won't result in something positive. So it's almost like a guaranteed return to this attitude, this goodness, when it's faced with goodness, and positive when it's faced with positive.
Yeah, well, you said I was consistent. You're a consistent guy, man. Just doing this every day.
Yes.
House painter, raising 5 kids, doing art that is like so magnificent and prolific. Someone once said they thought you were a spy, and I said he doesn't
Spying
have.
For what?
I said he doesn't have time to be a spy. He's too busy.
Yes.
No, that's I respect.
I wish salary is great. No, being a spy. Then I would have to strike.
Then you would have to be. Yeah.
Oh my God! Sometimes when you face the rent, it's like in my age. Well, I have a good reason to be behind because obviously, but it's. But I wanted to move on and start talking about aspirations.
Okay.
And how we really fortunate enough to have enough juice within that immediate whatever engagement. We have what it takes to start something, and we know we have a leeway here, like the next 2 months, we're good for the next 2 months kind of thing, just as a metaphor. So we initiate something, we feel that safety of we have time, and we can operate and make the necessary adjustments as we gonna. And this is why our inspiration lasts longer, because we are aware. It's like almost like what's the difference between a master chess player and you? You see 1-2 moves ahead. He sees 9 moves ahead, which is incredible. That's enough to crush you before the game even starts.
Right.
So you have that feeling with your canvases and all this. And, if I may suggest to you, the next time you're facing the canvas, express anger towards whatever and whomever is responsible for you thinking that a white canvas staring you in the face, in the eyes, is a bad thing.
Well, I think that's good advice, and express that
anger.
I've done exactly that, and that's why I have results, because I was not afraid. Yes,
but not all over again every time. One that fits, one that will buy you a year.
You mean paint an angry loaf of bread?
Yes. You were angry. You ended up with an angry loaf of bread.
An angry loaf of bread.
That was funny.
That's funny. I'm funny. I happen to...
Okay, how about poems? Poems. Okay. Please, I can't wait.
It's in honor of, not in honor of, but I know when Reggie has been on your show, I always got a kick when you guys would read poetry. It's like,
oh, yeah.
So I asked you the other day, can I bring some poems? And you said, sure.
I love it. Go for it, man.
And what was I going to say? Something about Reggie. I better let it go. No, kidding, Reg. Oh, yeah, I know what I wanted to tell you. I used to also always tune in when you have my great friend on, Gene Hamilton.
Oh, my God.
I told him the other day, I said, I'm going on Haim. He goes, bah, 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 bah. I said, I would just listen to you guys talk sometime over the years for hours. I said, I never understood one freaking thing you was saying, but it was engrossing. It was like engaging.
Yes.
But he can go deep.
He can go,
And you too.
Yeah, he's a machine.
He's a wonderful friend.
Yes.
As are you. Okay, let's see. You want the lighthearted one first? Yeah. I have a serious one. Then we could talk about this.
Yeah.
This gets into the meat of the psyche.
Okay, you're going to read the poem or?
You'd have been a good stand-up. Okay, this is called Horses Don't Fly. I wrote it in like the early 80s from the Montauk Motel, the bar, Montauk. I stopped in for a beer. This is a true story. And it's called Horses Don't Fly, and it's actually ends on a punchline. So there you go. And it's a ballad form. It's a cross between a ballad and, I guess, limericks, because I'm not a trained poet either. Okay, Horses Don't Fly. It rhymes. You ready? The first thing I see at the pub by the sea are four gruesome fellas, each built like a tree. Now, the pub by the sea, I'm sure you'd agree, is an elegant joint, warm and cozy. I took my place at the bar, took my drink up with ease, and watched these four fellas do as they please. Their big, strong hands curled lit cigarettes with gentle fingers and unholy regrets. With the sea out behind them and the bar there before them, the man in the apron is tipped well to pour 'em. Their faces were bold, their clothes tattered and old, and the holes in their mouths were filled with fool's gold. Their faces were craggy like rocks on the beach. Their postures were swerving, as was their speech. They laughed as they spoke and drank as they smoked, the sunset aglow behind them. For an hour or more at the pub by the shore, and the clock on the wall to remind them. Their stories were sad, but they laughed all the same, like the sunset behind them. With the sea out behind them and the bar there before them, the drinks that they drank will not reform them, though the man in the apron continues to pour 'em. I'm struck by this scene, but what does it mean? These four gruesome men seem truly serene. For an hour or more at the pub by the shore, their lives, like gears, are in sync. Now, I'm a simple man with no fisherman's tan, but these four men have forced me to think. By chance, I was here because I wanted a beer, but this place was home, I could see, to the men in the aprons and the fishermen patrons and the sun going down by the sea. As I looked at these men, I was thinking of home. I was thinking too much and felt all alone. Upon taking my leave, I could not believe the sight that was catching my eye. Into this window of glass, a seagull did crash. He thought that the window was sky. I was thinking illusion and all the confusion that caused this poor seagull to die. Said the four who were numb while lifting their rum, be thankful that horses don't fly.
Don't fly. I love it. That's not an easy poem to write.
It's a ballad type thing.
Yeah,
It's the truth, though. A seagull, and one of the guys said, I'm glad horses don't fly. They would have broke the glass.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go.
Want to read the next one?
Yeah, this is the series.
Let's go for it.
Okay, this is called Hermes the Trickster. And it's all about, well, it'll explain itself. The trickster is, I learned
Oh, you know what? Actually, before you do that, I'm going to read one, and then this will give more momentum to this one.
Yeah.
36. In the center of chaos, a glimmer of hope. A celebration where dreams elope. I don't write rhyming, but sometimes I do. Perfection trimmed in a daring race. Wrong turns eclipse its life's embrace. Desire to live strong and clear. No need to pass the bill for all to hear. A rare moment sized with grace, healing wounds in love's embrace, burning bright through the darkest night, a willingness to do what's right. Lay the facts on the table, let truth unfold, emotional accuracy in stories untold.
Mm-hmm.
Testimony of love begins within. Lucky are those who dare to begin.
That's nice. Very sweet. And it rhymes.
Yeah, then it rhymes on top of it. So, yeah.
Okay. I'm up. Okay, so I was going to say the Hermes is. I learned about the trickster through Carl Jung. I'm a big Carl Jung guy.
Yeah.
The Swiss psychologist.
Yes.
And he made a study of the art. His word is the archetypes, and he put it to our
Yeah, I have
vocabulary.
A story about
Okay. Anyway, I really know the trickster, and I know the trickster he, she, or it so well that I know this by reading this on your show here. Again, the trickster does not like to be exposed, and he'll hide my car keys probably from here to when I go in the parking lot. I'll be because the tricks will say, "Oh, you're gonna tell people about me? Watch what I could do to you." You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's
yes,
the
yeah.
okay. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
I love this. Upside down and backwards, off key on purpose, guaranteed to spill your drink. I am into mistakes. I fiddle with your life for the hell of it. Desire is my game. I load the bases just to strike you out. I play with a stacked deck because I am the house. I'm the voice that tells you how to get away with things. The friend who borrows more than money. I will back you so far into the corner, your ass cheeks will meet at right angles. I'm the lie you forgot you told, the conversation you should never have had. Your secrets are not safe with me. I'm the curve in the road, the princess in the tower, and the jewel lost in garbage. I'm the miracle catch, an unforgivable fumble rolled into one. I'm the salt in your tears and the reason for your fears. The weight I impose upon you is immeasurable. I'm the blade of recognition, and I don't play by the rules. But I am the trickster, and my tricks are twofold. Dip even one toe into the ocean of my mystery. Watch me backflip just for you. Be grateful.
I love it.
Isn't that good?
So well written.
That's the one I read at Jason Spielberg's memorial, and you were in the audience.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely a serious one.
It is a series.
A four-liner from this morning when I was waiting for you. Learn to plead with patience alongside the warning signs. It's a matter of being gracious, blindfolded, avoiding the minds.
Whoa. Whoa.
And apropos, you said Carl Jung. The Carl Jung, when I met Dr. John Sarno, and Dr. John Sarno speaks about TMS, tension mastery syndrome,
Yes, yeah.
the divided mind, all this. He freed me, he cured me.
He was the back guy doctor, right?
Hmm?
Wasn't he the back doctor? Yeah.
But of course, more than that.
Yeah.
Healed me, everything. Thank God, almost 2 decades I'm out of it. And he was telling the birth of fibromyalgia, it came from Carl Jung. And how so? Freud, in one of his difficult cases, because Freud and Jung were, Jung was a follower of Freud,
Right,
and everything is told the world of him.
Yes.
So there was a strong case, very difficult case of Dora,
Yes.
her name, yeah? And she came, whatever she had, he fixed her, he cured her, he sent her home.
Jung did.
No,
Freud did.
And
Okay.
Freud is there in helping him. And then a month later, she came with a whole totally different new batch of problems. So Freud turns to Jung and he says, look at her. She can't tolerate all the goodness that she was given, that she can be cured, and I cured her and I sent her. So what is she doing? She's self-punishing herself to come up with new scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And Jung says, I think you're wrong. I think that there's such a thing that called fibromyalgia, that he didn't say fibromyalgia, but now the mind is improving its tactics and it's adding more items into the equation in order to confuse the victim and to coerce the victim to believe that indeed his problems are real while they're not. So Freud looks at him and said, this friggin' asshole is brilliant. But if I'm going to admit that he's right, I'm going to have to go back and change 90% of my thesis, of my...
And he wasn't willing to do that.
Of course, and he wasn't willing to admit and to discuss it. So they went this way.
That's right.
And Freud, in an indirect fashion, always saying, what is fibromyalgia? It's multi-symptoms.
Oh,
you have a headache, I cure your headache, you come with a heartburn and a back pain. I cure your heartburn and your back pain. You come back with heart palpitations, depression, and frequent urination. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's called... Yes. So the mind always says, okay, let's see you now claiming that you have no problems. And we start attacking you with 5 different symptoms at the same time.
Yeah.
But the rule and the concept of knowledge is the cure relates to everything. That means it heals everything. It solves everything. There's no item by item.
Right.
And as opposed to Freud, when you say knowledge is the cure, you don't go to sit on the sofa in order to be cured.
Right. It's a process.
You go because it's comfortable, because it's soothing. Like when you get a massage, you don't get a massage because it's going to heal you and fix your back.
Right.
It's because it's going to make you feel good. Simple as that, straightforward. So anyway, that was my story about Jung.
That's interesting. I heard about the Dora client. Yeah.
So in any case, well, whether you believe it or not, we managed to decipher almost an hour.
Get out of
58 minutes.
I didn't curse, honey.
Yeah. You can sneak in one curse if you want. Just a gentle one, please.
No.
Okay, no. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, and maybe hope that you can find your way back here again.
Well, thanks, Haim.
This is just the beginning,
you
know.
beginning.
I was very kind with you. I didn't puzzle you with questions you won't be able to understand, or to be able to answer.
Well, it's very, very thoughtful.
And usually these are the questions that I cannot understand either, and I cannot answer either. So,
well, I know, right? You're as confused as I am, and
exactly.
You're not afraid to work it out in real time.
That's why people don't take it personally, and I cannot insult anyone because I would be insulting myself if I was to do that.
Well said.
So God. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank you for being who you are in the community. Everybody who know you, they know you're all about goodness, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Haim.
And your friendship, even if we don't really friend like going out or tight or close, we are very close, because you allow that to happen.
Well, I think actually,
and I appreciate that.
Thank you, getting my paintings out of my basement, and I think there's a half a chance I might stand in front of my canvases again, because I'm a little re-inspired now about my ability to paint. I think I'm ready. It's been 10 years.
No, it's good. I'm very happy you're here. So let me just mention that Tommy DeGrassa is here with us here on the 10th day of September. Tomorrow is September 11th. You know, everybody is in his own personal demeanor to go through whatever thoughts and feelings that you have. And we're going to be here tomorrow as much as we were here yesterday and as much as we were here this morning. Again, Tuesday morning, September 10th, year 2024. Don't forget to visit the ongoing show, which Tommy happens to be one of the participating artists. And the opening reception is Saturday, September 21st, 47. We will be very happy to see you. We know you're out there. We appreciate your contribution. And God bless and keep up the good spirits. And again, thank you to my guest, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.